Now we have done mouth and the buccal cavity where were present tongue, palate and tooth. Now the buccal cavity leads to the pharynx. Pharynx is a 12 centimeter long tube which is present or which starts beyond soft palate. It is common passage for food and air. Look, this is the opening of nose. This is the opening of mouth. पीछे जाके this becomes the common opening for nose and mouth. This is the opening of nose, nasal chamber. It leads to pharynx. And the opening of mouth, buccal cavity also opens in pharynx. And then यहाँ पे हमारे पास क्या आ गया, larynx. और इसके बाद ये जो है it will divide into two parts. It will divide into two parts. One will become the food pipe, that is esophagus, and it will form the digestive system, complete digestive system, and this will become the windpipe or trachea, and it will form the respiratory system. So from here ये था हमारे पास, दिस इज द pharynx. यहाँ से ये दो ट्यूब्स बन गई. अब ये पूरा क्या बनाएगा, पीछे वाला डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम. दिस विल फॉर्म द रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम. नाउ दे आर प्लेस्ड इन द थोरेसिक कैविटी लाइक दिस. ऊपर जो आ गया, यहाँ पे आ गया हमारे पास रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम, और पीछे से क्या जाएगा, दैट विल बी द डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम. Pharynx can be divided into three parts. Nasopharynx. Portion of pharynx inside the nose is nasopharynx. Portion of pharynx inside the mouth or the buccal cavity, it is oropharynx. And the portion, this is the common pharynx, और ये जो नीचे वॉइस बॉक्स या लैरिंग्स के साथ जो इकट्ठा है, that is called laryngopharynx. Now pharynx leads to the esophagus or the food pipe, which is 25 centimeter long, narrow, muscular tube. This is the esophagus or the food pipe, which is 25 centimeter long, muscular, straight tube which runs in the downward direction behind trachea. यानी आगे जो है वो विंड पाइप है और उसके पीछे जो है that is the food pipe. It runs behind. It passes through the thorax, that is the chest cavity, behind heart. लेकिन हार्ट के पीछे से आएगी esophagus. Passes through the diaphragm. Like this is the body cavity and this is the thoracic cavity, and lower one is the abdominal cavity. We know that coelom or the body cavity is divided into two by a muscular curtain. This muscular curtain is diaphragm. So the windpipe, the food pipe, it will pass through the diaphragm and it will open into the stomach. And the esophagus is a tube which remains closed all the times except during swallowing. जब इसमें से खाना पास करता है, when food passes through it, only then it opens, otherwise it remains closed. Now the next organ is stomach. Stomach is a muscular organ which is located on the left side of abdomen, just below the diaphragm. And a stomach has four regions. We can see, I have drawn this J-shaped structure, stomach. The first part is fundus, this much. The portion small, this small dome-shaped region is the fundus. Second is the cardiac portion. Cardiac portion, ये जो है, this is the esophagus. Esophagus or the food pipe, it opens into the cardiac. And then we have this portion, the middle part of the stomach, which is called body, and the last part is this, the pyloric part. And pyloric part, this leads to small intestine. This becomes the small intestine. We can see the esophagus opens into the cardiac part of stomach by means of an aperture which is called cardiac aperture. and in this cardiac aperture it is guarded by a cardiac sphincter. Sphincter is valve which prevents the back flow of food. यानी खाना एक बार ईसोफेगस से स्टमक में आ गया तो ये वापस नहीं जाएगा because of this cardiac sphincter. And the pyloric region which leads to the small intestine, again there is an aperture which is called pyloric sphincter, pyloric aperture, and it is guarded by pyloric sphincter. So when the food is digested in the stomach, the mechanical and chemical digestion takes place. Both the sphincters and the apertures, they get closed, and the food is churned inside. Sometimes what happens, if this cardiac aperture sphincter it gets loosened up, तो फूड में तो यहाँ स्टमक में HCl सिक्रीट होता है, HCl फूड से मिक्स हो जाता है तो एसिडिक हो जाता है. समटाइम्स ड्यूरिंग द मैकेनिकल churning of the food, this sphincter if it gets loosened, तो ये जो food है it goes back into the esophagus, which is called jalan, खट्टे डिखार, and that is called acid burn. That is all for today. We will continue tomorrow.